Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Lars and today we are going to talk about how to use your job to your advantage while starting a business. We are going to have a few topics that will blend into one another, but this is pretty normal. The first topic I'm going to discuss is you can start small and scale easy. Why do I say easy? Easy being because you have a lot less stresses of the things that your business has to fulfill. The time factor is another thing. So let me explain. Why did I say easy? Well, for the following point, limited time creates creativity. You will do less of unnecessary things because you have limited time. This is actually where a job really comes in handy, because afterwards you're gonna have so much to do and you will not be able to like find the time to fill it in, or the opposite end of the spectrum. And this is where also many people get caught up. They think their job is in the way, they stop, full stop. They just start a business for themselves, and then in the end they do not know what to do with that time. They procrastinate and actually nothing happens. So there's two ways that this can go whenever you stop your job and you just go full on in the business. You can do that after a while, and this is also a topic that's going to be discussed. But yeah, in the beginning, because you have a job, there is less time. You will need to be more creative. So what you will do is you will prioritize way better, do the most necessary work to get the most things done, which leads to a minimum viable product. From here you can tweak and tune whenever needed along the way, but you need something that really gets your customer satisfied, and afterwards that you can deliver on your promises. In, let's be honest, whenever we have a job, there's a lot of work that goes in there that actually doesn't really bring the output. In most companies there will be high efficiency companies where you really have to work full on whenever you arrive up until the moment that you get off your desk and go home, or whatever you are doing, or jobs that require hands-on all the time. It's more difficult to do something meanwhile. But a lot of times we can find that we do a lot of unnecessary things, and there's a study that like the most productive people, quote unquote, that work a job, they actually only have 6 hours of productivity. So if we can find a way to actually utilize those 6 hours while we are paid 8, in a way this makes up for the idle time. Use the idle time to your advantage. So you will always have times when you go to the toilet, times when you just have a small break, instead of maybe doing the social time with your colleagues, and however fun that may be, just put that time into your business. Just research a little bit on something, or maybe write out whatever you need to write out for your business plan, or figure something out that really goes to your business. We all have time to spare. Even if we think we don't, we are fooling ourselves in a way. There are people that have children while they are working their job, and they will most likely have to sleep less to get the business going. That's just pure reality. If you are not willing to do that, then you're gonna have some issues. There is one way to actually work with this. Get yourself in shape first. This really creates a lot of energy. After the kids start to sleep or whatever chores are done, then you can focus there on your business. But we were talking about the idle time. So the idle time that you have, lunch, toilet break, going to have a chat with a colleague, leave the chat out, just figure out what you need to do on your business. Be selfish first. Basically, small points: ideate, execute, and read up. Those are things that you could do in small idle time. For those of us who do have a little bit more time on their hands, you can do way more things. You can I don't know, record something, research something, send some emails while you have the time to do so, just to get that business up and running, and just find your own weaknesses and reflect a little bit on that. This is something that you could even do when working with your hands, because some jobs are so systematic that we do not occupy our head while we are doing it. It's something that you need to learn when doing it. In this one, I speak out of experience because I've done this myself. Back then, I was listening to podcasts while doing some work with my hands because my mind was not as occupied, because it was routine work. So just use your time efficiently. I know it's not going to be the same as you really put in some deep work, as they say, and you really focus, but still, you can get a lot more done than you give yourself credit for. So use whatever time you have on the job that is idle, use it to your advantage. So in some cases, you will find that you want to do your business in something that is closely related to what you are already doing, maybe because it interests you and the job that you are doing doesn't bring you satisfaction, or just not enough money, which is the case for a lot of people. Then you can actually use your job to build your network. In some ways, this is something that might have clauses in some businesses, but there are businesses where you can actually do this without having ramifications from this actual idea, and it will bring you a lot to just like use whatever you have to your advantage. Another idea would be to like solve an issue that the business you are currently working for has. Small tip: do not do this within the time of the business, because this might get you in trouble. If they do figure out that you were working on that problem, you can really write some things down and such, that's fine. But if you really execute this during that time, and some businesses are smart, so really be careful with this, but if you can fix this within your own time and you can sell it to them, they might be grateful to you, and you can still exit your job on a good note after you fix this problem. And you can be some type of consultant in this way for them. If you like the people over there, this is a good way to go, and to just go your own way in a slower pace. But you really need to make sure that you get all bases covered, providing that service for other businesses that might face the same issues. But this is insights that you have and that you can get from your job. And it can be anything. It can even be jobs like doing dishes, etc. But if you can find a way to sell productivity to those people, and they can really systematize everything, this is also a business model. It might not be the one that you're looking for that really earns that well, but it's the price that you give it and the reasoning behind it that you can sell that might offer the value that you are looking for. So this is also a way, just find your niche within what you are doing already. This might work well for you. For some people it will not, because they really hate their job. Actually, those people are in the best condition, because this is where you really push yourself to really get out of the situation that you are in. You can also take a look at the business that you work in, which might be very efficient, and you can adopt the processes that they use and you can make them your own, or you can use that knowledge and you can sell it to someone else. That's also a type of business model. So to summarize my point, in some cases, which is one, build your network, identify an issue within your niche or within the job that you are working for and sell this. Then you can identify and adapt processes that work, and you can maybe even sell those as a consultant to other businesses who might be in trouble, that the company that you currently work for is doing better and doesn't have anything really to do with your job title. In many jobs you have the option to have yourself educated. What you can do is you can use the education that they provide and you can just make it your own. Take it, and apply it for yourself. It's another way of personal growth. Some companies pay for it, and it's something that you don't have to do in your free time. So this is another way how to use your job. So in multiple jobs you will be able to do this. At least in Europe this is the case. If this is not the case, you don't live in Europe or your job doesn't allow this, then you can also use the income that you get from your job and you can just invest in yourself, which is what most business people do in any case. They just take a part of their income and they invest in themselves. And that's really something like beyond the job. You will always need to do this, otherwise you will not get anywhere. Build your baseline now. That's the other thing. And your baseline can be many things. It can be knowledge, it can be savings, it can be whatever you want it to be. But make sure that you overgrow your baseline by so much that your job becomes a hindrance. Because if you do this, it will make more sense for you to take the next step and actually maybe even quit your job, which is the smartest thing that you can do. Even if it feels like the job is hindering you, it gives you different opportunities that you need to put in the right frame of mind to be able to notice them. What you can also do is you can use the tools that you get paid for by your job. If you have a clause that you can use them for personal usage, be very careful with how much they can track, but you can just cut your startup costs by doing this. So what do I mean by this? The fact that you probably in your job you will get a laptop, a cell phone, maybe a car, maybe your internet is paid, all of those small things that really add up. If you can use those in your advantage for now, before you make the leap and before you know that you can actually pay for these things easily with whatever business you are starting, that's the way to actually do it in a safe way and not just jump in head over heels, because this very often goes nowhere. So another point to make is like the exploration that you do, so meaning the trial and error that you do is free now. So you can make mistakes and you're still covered. If you have a business, the mistake is at your expense. If you really earn well, those mistakes don't really matter. But if you make the step too soon and it's just like knife on your throat, every mistake is gonna cost you, because you will have to work back from that. And I'm not saying that making mistakes is bad, because it's actually very good. It's the best lessons that you can have in this way, even if it's being said too often. But those mistakes, if you look back at them and reflect, you can make them your advantage to be better at the thing that you actually at that point sucked at. If this was really something that is in your hands, usually it is, because usually it's processes and systems that are not working well that will bottleneck your business. If you have to overcome these at a certain threshold of income, this can really cost you a lot. And this is also why my previous point was to really make sure to build your bases while you are in your job. So to expand a little bit on this while I'm at it, that those are actually for free. At the time that you are working in your business is starting off good, then the idea is that you can build some more savings so that you can withstand those drawbacks of making mistakes at that point in time. Because very often some business owners, they just skip everything, they just go in and then they actually have to quit their business whenever it could make an impact to their lives, whenever they recover from those mistakes that they made. But they have to pull the plug way earlier than they can actually go through that phase. And sometimes those phases can be very long, because psychology is a very weird thing. In this way we can really put ourselves in a bigger mess than it was. So then figure out a bottleneck inside of you now. It's early, and the better you get at this, the quicker you will move over hurdles, because this is what a business is all about. You do the thing you can do best, you scale it as quickly as you can, but you will find that there is a lot of mess around you that you have to fix before you can move to the next level. So if you have a certain cap at it now, before you actually say like, okay, now it's the time, I'm gonna quit my job, first fix whatever underlying processes and systems you need before you make that step, and then you will make things so much easier for yourself, because you will find those again in the next step. And usually these things show over time. So if you find like 3 to 6 months, this would be very good to just have a proven model that works, that you can repeat, and then the flaws will show itself. If you can improve those, usually it's you, somewhere within you, psychologically, methodically, or just doing more busy work than you are actually doing something that matters to the business. If you can fix those before quitting your job, this is really where you will get the most value from it. And then the last point, but not the least point, is the fact that you have some sort of stability. It's the golden cage, but use that cage in your advantage. Whatever is outside that cage cannot hurt you right now all too much, but it can play in your advantage right now. But keep your eye on the ball outside of that cage so that you work towards there. The pain has to be strong enough for you to keep moving to get out of that cage. But you have to do it in a calculated way so that you prepare yourself in the best way possible before actually taking the leap. Thank you for watching. I hope you found it valuable, what we discussed about how your job is still valuable while you are starting your business. And please like and subscribe, and see you next time. Here you can watch my previous video, and here you can watch the next video that's upcoming. Thank you. See you next time. Bye bye.